yes, there is one thing many army lists lack, which is the main reason why most games are decided even before the very first turn. Okay, let's look at these two armies. Can you spot the difference?
It is Nagash.
Yes, exactly. One army has a play before even the first turn begins. It pressures the enemy army even in the deployment phase. Let's look at it. The first army, a classic melee punch-up army, has no meaningful way to engage turn 1. Well, it also plays more than 2 regiments, which increases the chance of the enemy to choose who goes first immensely. And combined, the enemy chooses who goes first and your army does not deal any damage turn 1, well, the choice is obvious. Your enemy lets you start because in your very first turn you're not doing anything meaningful. But let's flip this around. We look at this army. Let's calculate how many units this army can send across the board.
Just one, but Nagash can bring them back at Nagash's will.
They can easily charge across the board. With their movement, they force the enemy army to deploy further away, because if you just put them aggressively in the front lines,
and your opponent chooses for you to go first, you can command the onslaught.
Because remember, if you have more regiments than your opponent, you're the one who deploys the last regiment. Therefore, if your army has more than 2 regiments, pack all the fast units in one regiment and deploy it at the very end of the deployment phase. This forces your opponent to backboard their units, which gives you more space. Even if you start, you don't even have to charge the enemy. You already created an advantage by pushing the enemy forces away from the objectives, away from the battle tactics, away from your army.
Nagash is pleased.
You can easily take the objectives while being out of range. That's the main advantage. And if your opponent is greedy enough to not backboard and lets you start, you can just jump on him and attack him straight on. But what if my opponent catches my strategy and I feel my opponent will take the first turn? Well, easy. You have seen where he deploys his army because you have one more regiment, which you can deploy after you've seen everything of the enemy army. You can just put it to the side, put them somewhere else, put them behind your screens. And that's the advantage why you should always have some fast units to pressure the opponent before the very first turn in the deployment zone. If you want more information about how to write a good army list, watch this video. Sigmar out!